Cancer, hello, Amanda here. Welcome to the Unseen Hands Collective. This is going to be your January 2021 shift reading. We're looking at the shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shape shift looks and feels like. So Cancer, before I get into your cards, the phrase actually that's coming to me for you is find your feet. And I'm getting images of someone a little wobbly, like maybe on new territory or standing on a different kind of ground. It's almost like when you're used to walking on pavement and then suddenly you take a hike on like really uneven or rocky terrain and it's like suddenly you have no equilibrium. That's the sensation. It's like finding your footing in a new place or finding your footing in unfamiliar territory. So here's what your shape shift looks and feels like. You're shifting out of the Two of Pentacles. It says intersection. And you're shifting into the Knight of Wands, the fire starter. I mean, I love this energy for you. There's been so much fiery energy coming through the channel for Cancer lately, and it feels really right. It feels spot on in terms of your energy. You know, people stereotype Cancer as just like this over emotional energy, but there's so much fire and like, yeah, there's a lot of emotion in Cancer energy. And a lot of that is rooted in fire. So I don't know. I just really, I love seeing that when it comes out for you. It feels like a really strong way to like intentionally move all of that emotional energy in a meaningful way. And that's exactly, you know, the knights in the tarot are about movement. And this is fire movement, the fire starter. This person looks ready to go. But there's a process to get there. So here's what it, you know, the Two of Pentacles is actually, sometimes it's depicted as someone juggling unsteadily, like trying to find a delicate balance, which actually really speaks to me of this sensation I'm getting for you of like trying to find equilibrium, trying to find your footing. And this particular Two of Pentacles, it's like trying to, whatever this interaction is between these two people, it exudes awkwardness to me. Like this is an awkward interaction for one reason or another. And they seem to be trying to find common ground, intersection. They're trying to find their footing with each other, with perhaps a relationship where there are differences or there is something confusing going on. I mean, look at this person like scratching their head like, what is going on here? Almost like, you know, how do I talk to you? And this person has their eyes closed, you know? So it's like, how do we connect? How do we intersect? How is this going to work? So again, you may be finding yourself in unfamiliar territory where you're just trying to find your footing, trying to find like where this fits together and how this makes sense. And the process looks like this. Here's your card, Cancer, the Moon. The Moon, the Empress, the Magician. I mean, come on. Major Arcana in the middle. This is what your shift looks and feels like. I mean, these are major cards. These are much larger archetypal energies that you're moving through. So whatever this is pretty big. And it makes sense. You know, the shift into the new year, especially with the year we've had, is pretty intense. And note the presence of the moon being like in both of these cards, being this giant green glowing thing in the sky. I mean, this is speaking to me of eclipse season. We're coming out of eclipse season in December. A pretty intense one at that. And then the Magician looks like the dawn of the new day after the intensity of those eclipses. What I'm noting about all three of these energies is they're all three sitting on the ground, seated, rooted, like not even just their feet on the, it's almost like in the Two of Pentacles, you're trying to find your balance. And the way you find your footing is maybe actually just like sit down, which is an interesting idea. Like you're trying to go along and you're trying to find your footing and you're kind of teetering. And it's like maybe you need to ground yourself by just sitting your ass on the ground. You know, it's like park it for a second. Hold on. Tune in. Ground yourself. You know, the moon is an intuitive card. It says tune into your internal experience. Tune into what's going on inside of you when you can't see or understand where you are or where you are going. Maybe that's a cue to stop and sit and close your eyes and tune into something larger than, you know, tune into the feelings that are going on within you that help you connect with something much larger. Because that's what, I mean, look at the moon and the Empress and the way they're both gazing up at something. It's like this imagery is speaking to me of like, hold on. Yes, you're in new territory. That's cool. You don't know how to walk here yet. So stop. And feel yourself, feel what your experience is, and then let that inform you towards a larger vision. You know, it's like, how can you, if you're having trouble walking, maybe it's because you don't exactly know where you're going. And so it's almost like these cards are trying to tune in to this space above them, outside of them, for guidance, to say, okay, wait a second. Where is this going? Where is this leading? Let me have a firm goal to focus on. And that, you know, it's like the Empress is all about creation, all about like, what am I creating? What kind of incredible lusciousness am I gonna make here? You know, and she's holding fire. Like, what is going to feed me creatively about this experience or this new place? Like, what is going to turn me on, frankly? Because again, fire, and this is fire in the form of a paintbrush. So maybe this is about something creative or artistic or something you're creating for some folks. But it's like, okay, what is going to excite me about this? What is going to genuinely move me forward from like a passionate, spiritual, emotional space? And then it's like, once you're able to identify that, then, I mean, look at the Magician. The Magician is the act of creation. And then it's like you can turn your focus. There's like a shift. Do you see this? There's a shift between whatever the Moon and the Empress need to pause to focus on. There's a shift then to where the Magician and the Firestarter are looking in the same direction. It's like once you identify whatever that is that you want to create or you want to bring forth, then the Magician and the Knight of Wands are able to do it. Okay, now we have focus. Now we have direction. And we have somewhere where you can apply all of your energies instead of just like trying to move forward in like this really unbalanced way. It's like you don't have to push through that. Maybe before you trip and fall on your face, you need to pause. Get clear on what it is you want to do. What is your intention here? What are you making? What are you creating? What are you doing? You know, like get really clear about it. Get a clear picture in your head. And that's really going to help ground you and focus your energy so that you can put brush to paper, right? Or so that you can, because then we see the journey of like, I'm not really sure how to navigate this. Okay, I sit my butt down and I ground into what it is that I'm doing, and then I can stand up again. Now I've got my footing and I'm ready to go. And it is all about your fire. It is all about what excites you, what gets you passionate and turns you on and lights you up and gets your creativity flowing, because that is actually going to help you find your footing rather than you just sort of walking without direction. I like this reading, Cancer. Big time. This is interesting also, just before we pause here. I'm just looking at these cards, the Moon, Venus, and Mercury. This is the trajectory for you. The Moon, it's like maybe this is your creative process. The Moon keys you into how you're feeling. And how you're feeling really keys you into your intuition and that like mysterious space within you that opens you up internally to the Muse, Venus. The Muse, the thing that delights you, excites you, brings you pleasure, introduces passion and art and beauty. And then bam, Mercury helps you focus. Mercury helps you bring it into being. Mercury helps you channel it through communication, through action. That's the process. And then once you are focused through on the beauty, like moving backwards, once you are focused on focused and clear on the beauty that you intuitively feel led to create, then you can take action. Then you can start the fire. Then you can get going. Okay. I love this reading, Cancer. We're going to take it into an extended now. I'm going to pull some other cards and see what details we can get out of this. If this is resonating with you so far, stick around. At the end of this reading, there'll be a little preview so you can make sure that the extended is resonant for you. And if it is, head on over to unseenhandscollective.com. There'll be a link in the description and you can purchase the extended in the shop, or you can join our monthly memberships to receive your extendeds monthly. All right, Cancer, Happy New Year. Really making space to see all of those insecurities and where they're coming from, and also to allow them to be there, to say, yeah, it makes sense actually that all this insecurity is coming up. I'm in completely new territory. I'm in an unfamiliar space. It's awkward. Yeah, it's hard and awkward to navigate something, and yeah, it's making me a little insecure. So admitting that and seeing that and having a lot of compassion around it maybe can help melt that defensiveness a little bit, so that what can actually rise up and out of all of this defensive expression of fire, which can be Cancer energy, right? Crab claws, defensive, defend, because I'm so soft and soft, defend. No, it's like, okay, rising up out of the crab claws is actually a really beautiful, creative, fruitful expression of creativity and confidence. It's like being able to allow you've got to melt the defensiveness so that a true sense of where your power comes from can make you feel more confident and bolster your confidence. And then it's like it can begin to rise up, and it's almost like the torch reveals itself.